Okay, Google, show me a young Earth creationist that has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel. Fucking weirdo.
There can be only one.
Hey guys, this is Matt Powell.
Yes. Greetings, dear viewer. That there can be only one. That just popped into my head then while I was just editing this video, so I thought it would be quite funny. So I just slotted it in. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Welcome to my little corner of the YouTubes. Yes, this is Matt Powell. Like I said before, he's a young Earth creationist, alleged transphobe, and certainly homophobic if you saw the end of my last video where he talks about Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. So, you know, showing his true colours there. Anyway, I was going to do a debunk of Eric Dubay's science fiction horror film called Level. That's going to come in a couple of weeks, in the next coming weeks. So I'm going to do it in parts, but I'm not going to do it 1 week after the other. So I want a bit of variety in the channel. So that's coming, so look out for that. Yeah, so I saw this little gem from Matt Powell, old Channel 4. I leave him comments on his videos, like, you know, how's Dr. Peel and others. But he's never responded, so either he's blocked me or he's been deliberately ignorant. Deliberately ignorant. Anyway, he thinks he has proof for Noah's flood. So we're going to have a look at that. So take it away, Matt. The floor is all yours.
One of my favorite proofs of the flood of Noah and the global flood is the fact that we find clams in the closed position on the top of Mount Everest.
You could have picked a sunnier day to record your video, Matt.
Now, we know that Mount Everest was most likely formed during the flood through catastrophic plate tectonics.
Most likely. So you don't actually know. You are right in a way. It was the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate pushing together to form the Himalayan range and the Tibetan plateau. That happened about 50 million years ago, and it's still happening now. Hang on. I've got a bit of a problem here. According to Genesis chapter 7, verse 17, Noah's flood lasted 40 days. Are you trying to tell me, are you seriously trying to tell me that Mount Everest was formed in just 40 days?
And while that happened, there were clams from the sea life that were actually pushed up the mountain, and they were buried with sediment at the same time.
I just had to shut my blinds there for a minute because the light was beaming in. I looked like Casper. Anyway, yeah, you're getting some things right here. It was buried under sediment as the mountain was pushed up. You know, the clams were getting buried, sediment all pushed up. So it's little wonder that you find clams, you know, near the summit of Mount Everest. Little wonder at all.
Clams, when they die, naturally they open up, and a scavenger will come and eat them. The only reason that we find clams that are in the closed position on the top of Mount Everest is because they were buried by an event.
Right again, buried by an event, but the event was nothing special. It was just sediment piling on top of things. And eventually, when there's a lot of weight on a clam, it's going to close because there's nothing to keep it open. So, yeah, crikey.
Now, these clams were as big as cars, and so the event had to be catastrophic.
Oh, he's got something wrong. Oh, back to normal. These these giant clams. I assume that you're talking about Tridacna gigantea. Tridacna gigantea. Yeah, that's the one. They're about 4 feet by about 3 feet. They're not as big as cars. So, in future, when you say that they're as big as cars, I'm going to assume that you mean these cars.
And so, what would cause a clam as big as a car to be found in the closed position on the top of Mount Everest? The only explanation for that is the flood of Noah.
Well, no, because first you have to show some evidence that Noah actually lived and God actually made Noah. He made something as complicated as a human being, but he needed a human being to build him a boat because he said he was going to flood the planet. I'm getting so confused now. Plus, dendrochronology disproves Noah's flood. Genealogy, geology, all disprove Noah's flood. There's absolutely not one single shred of evidence for Noah's flood. Not one, apart from a book of fables.
Now, recently I was watching a debate between Dr. Kent Hovind and Maddie from Science Side Up.
Dr. Kent Hovind? Doctor? Seriously? Is this the same Kent Hovind that bought his diploma from an unaccredited diploma mill? I think you're talking about the same Dr. Kent Hovind there. Anyway, you also seem like you're a science denier. Because Science Side Up? Really? Do you have to be that childish? Just get over yourself, man.
And Maddie claimed that the reason that you're going to find closed clams is just because like a little mudslide just came and covered the clams, and so they weren't able to open.
Oh, yeah, seems perfectly logical, perfectly reasonable. But you're a science denier, so you're not going to believe it, are you?
When they died. And that was their rescue device. That's their rescue device as evolutionists, is just a little mudslide did it.
So it seems implausible, right, that a clam has all its innards taken out. So it has no means of keeping the clam open. So, it's dead, gone, buried, whatever. So this clam, it's died with its shell open. It's had all its insides eaten away. So there's absolutely nothing to keep that clam open. So does it not seem plausible that a mudslide closed that clam back up again? And then mud, pile on top, pile on top, pile on top. All that mud solidified, and then it got pushed up into a mountain over millions and millions of years. Does that not seem plausible? Of course it doesn't. It doesn't to you because you're a science-denying half-wit. What seems implausible to me, what seems impossible to me, that Mount Everest was formed in 40 days. That seems impossible to me.
Here's the thing. You would have to have a pretty catastrophic mudslide in order for clams to be found in the closed position that are as big as cars. And so, yeah, Maddie, actually you're right. It would have had to have been a mudslide, but a catastrophic one. So,
well, not necessarily one mudslide. And not necessarily a catastrophic one. It could have been many, many smaller mudslides. But a mudslide nonetheless, because it seems the most plausible explanation. It seems more plausible than a 40-day-old Mount Everest.
Your admission that a mudslide is what would have caused that's what we'd expect in the flood.
A flood. Not the flood. A flood. We'd expect that. We'd expect a mudslide in a flood, not the flood. Any flood.
So, good job. Look, it's not difficult to figure out that the earth was flooded.
Well, it is because you don't have any evidence for it. You've got the Bible. That's it. You've got... Oh, just please, I've begged you and begged you and begged you in videos like this, and I've begged flat earthers and other people as well. Show some evidence, please. I don't want you, citing the Bible or anything like that. I just want to see some scientific evidence of a flood. Simple, really.
And the Bible even says that for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. The Bible even says that whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. With all that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. God bless.
Whoa, before you pop off. The title of your video, Proof of Noah's Flood. I mean, sitting here now, for minute after minute, waiting for this proof of nose flood. Where is it? You've not shown it. And it's the end of the bloody video now. You stupid spotty turd.
Closed clams has to be rapid burial.
Well, I mean, a mudslide.
And so, yeah, Maddie, actually, you're right. It would have had to have been a mudslide, but a catastrophic one. So your admission that a mudslide is what would have caused that, that's what we'd expect in the flood. So, good job.
Yes, a mudslide caused by a flood. Not the mudslide caused by the flood. Just a mudslide. Bog standard mudslide. Anyway, I think we'll leave Matt to his little corner of the YouTubes, the spotty little urchin. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Do join me on the next one. We're going to be doing Eric Dubé's sci-fi horror, like I said, and we're going to be doing other videos as well. So please join me for those. And by the way, Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel. Thank you very much and goodbye.